When making content, consistency is key, but you also need to take breaks so you don't burn out. How can both of these things be true at the same time? Content batching is the answer for most people, but let's talk about why that is and who it might not be good for. Don't worry, if content batching isn't for you, I have some suggestions on how to overcome that and how to make sure that you can still make a great plan. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our sponsor of today's video, Super.fans. I'm going to talk about them a little bit more at the end of the video, but thanks again for being a supporter of a growing creator. So is content batching for everybody? This is really going to depend on your niche. If your content relies on breaking news, trending topics, or any non-evergreen content, then this might not be the best strategy for you. When you're batching content, you're creating a lot of content at once that you can stretch out over a period of time. If you cannot predict what your content is going to be, you cannot easily stretch it over a period of time. If that is the case, then you really need to focus on a few things. Make sure that your production process is as short as possible. Hire out whenever and wherever you can as soon as you can afford it. Think of some other options to stay consistent in your content. Now, if that's live streaming, if that's shorts, if that is using your community tab, assuming that it is active on your YouTube account, or whatever medium it might be that you're using. Think about alternative ways to create value and a sense of community, even if you have to step away. Another thing you want to do if content batching isn't for you is to make sure that you schedule days off, weeks off, months off of your content strategy so that you can take a break. There are a lot of creators that still keep consistency with breaking news updates. Just look at Philip DeFranco. However, even Phil just took some time off, which he does every year. He plans on this because he knows that he can't create content 5 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year. It's too much. Having only weekends off is not a great strategy. Things come up, emergencies happen, life is a thing. You want to be able to plan for when that happens. Think about if you have maybe an emergency that comes up, what will happen? Do you have a way to make sure that you're still staying consistent on your social platforms? Now, this doesn't just work for YouTube, right? This works for everything. And when you're talking about repurposing content, it's very easy to take the outline of your YouTube video and create content for your other social platforms from it. Think about the chapters that you talked about in your YouTube video or the topics that you covered in your blog, whatever it might be. Those are topics that you can talk about on your other social media platforms to cross-promote and show your community the kinds of things that you're already talking about. This is going to help you so much. If you do this at least a week at a time, you can even go as far as a month or 2 months at a time. I even know people that plan out the full year in advance. However you do this, when you only spend 1 day out of the week or month or 3 months or whatever it is to work on your content strategy and plan things out, you never go a day where you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what to post. Because even if you somehow don't feel inspired, you have an entire list of things that you can create off of, especially when you're talking about your other social media platforms. You can always go back to content that you've created and create more information off of it. Batching content can also make you feel really confident and solid in your content creation process. Sometimes we can get a little distracted, maybe, about the things that we're creating. But when you have a whole strategy and you see it all in one place, it's very easy to see if this stuff all fits together. Does it really fit with the topic that you're talking about? Does it really fit in your niche? Will it really help your audience? If content batching is for you, this is what you're going to do next. We're going to make the plan and then we're going to test the plan. Think about how often you want to post. That should somewhat align with your goals on the platform. Are you there for fun? Are you there for serious business? Think about how often you can realistically publish and take into account that if it's not as often as you might really want, that your growth is going to be delayed a little bit. Clearly, the more that you post, the more that you can put into your online business, the faster it's going to grow. Not all of us have the privilege to be able to step away from a regular job and strictly work on an online business. I do have that privilege and I am very thankful for it, which is why I love sharing all of this information with you. Because even though my business is not doing fantastic currently, I know that once I start implementing all of these important things, that it will. And I want you to see it happen. Once you make the plan, you need to test the plan. I suggest only making a plan for about a month or two and then trying it a week at a time. Let's back up just a minute. Before you test the plan, in part of your make a plan, you also want to schedule time to review all of this. You want to go over the process every month, 2 months, 3 months, see what's working, what's not working, where you need to adjust, what you can add, or maybe just make another list. If things are going really well, you don't have to change anything. However, I don't know a single creator who doesn't constantly evaluate what they're doing and adjust accordingly. During this review process, you're going to want to ask yourself some really important questions. How are you feeling about making these videos? What's the feedback been like? Do the videos still feel true to your original goal and plan? When you're asking these questions, there are no right answers, but I want you to pay attention to how you're feeling when you ask yourself these questions. If it's a feeling that makes you want to change something, I want you to stop. And you're going to go through a loop of whys. You're going to continue to ask yourself why. First of all, what is this negative feeling that you have? Are you scared? Are you anxious? Are you nervous? Are any of those fears legitimate? Do you know why you're feeling those? Why? Again, there are no right answers here, but eventually you will come to an understanding of if you need to make a change or not. And if all of these feelings come up all of the time and are very overwhelming and distracting in your life, this is definitely a time to stop everything and take a step back. The reason I say this and the point that I'm trying to make is that content creation and running an online business, it's not actually for everybody. It's not as easy as a lot of people make it seem. It's really hard work and there's a lot of risk involved. It is true that anyone can start an online business. However, not anybody can be successful at it. That is the hard truth. I'm trying to make sure that I am still one of those that are successful at it. But every time that I've come up with an issue in the content that I'm creating or what I'm doing in my business, I go through this loop of whys. Why am I feeling this way? Where did this come from? Why do I feel that way? Is it because of my finances? Why? Is it because I could actually lose my home? Or is it because I'm just afraid of failing? And maybe it's not even you or your ability to create an online business, but maybe it's just not the right time. I know a lot of people say, start now, start today. You should have started 10 years ago. But the internet will still be here. I promise you, all of this will still be here later. If there are other things in your life that are more pressing, and if starting an online business is hurting you more than it's helping you, take a step back. There are so many different ways to make money online that do not require you to start your own business. I would definitely look into remote work or any positions that might be open in your desired field of work. And maybe while you're working for those other people, you'll come up with a better understanding of what you want to do with your business. Maybe you'll feel more comfortable online or in front of a camera or whatever it might be. Maybe you're slowly chipping away at things in the background instead of trying to do it all at once. All of these things are available to you. Don't think that you have to do it all today because it's just not going to happen quickly. This is a long game. It is a risky situation. But with great risk can come really great rewards. But just saying, if you have the time, take the time. Now, this last thing I don't think most people would think about when they think about content batching, but it's really important. Get community support and feedback. I always bring it back to the community because it is our biggest strength when building a business online. That's right. I just called you my biggest strength. Of course, this doesn't mean that you need to dump all of your problems on your community, but there are a lot of different ways to get constructive criticism and ask your community for their needs or to get more ideas on things that you can create in the future. When you're in YouTube on desktop browser, you can click Control Find, Control F, and search for why, what, where, and see if there's any comments that include questions that your community is already asking you. Even if you answered it in the comments section, make a video about it. If you don't have a lot of comments on your videos already, or maybe you haven't started yet, you can always go look at competing channels' comment section. Make sure that you are not spamming their comments section. Be respectful. Don't get carried away. That's not your community, that's their community. And if you want to build a strong community, you are not going to do it by poaching other communities. As well as those poached viewers are not probably going to be very loyal to you. They're probably not going to care as much. But when you've genuinely answered somebody's question and they organically click on your channel to see if it's something they like, they watch a video, they hit subscribe, that is the kind of viewer that you want. Being honest with your community about where you're they're at in your process and that you need their help to figure something out is a great way to build community. Encourage them to help each other and answer each other's questions in your comments section, which I suggest you do. If you have any questions at all, please leave them down below. If you have answers to any of the questions down below, please feel free to answer them. I try to get back to everybody, but sometimes things get a little out of hand and I can't always respond to everybody. I do try to get back to everybody, but more than one opinion is always a good idea. Clubhouse is another great way to find community and talk to people in your niche and figure out what kind of questions that they have or what problems they're currently trying to get solved. Polls is also a great way to figure out what kind of things your community might want to see next, what kind of things they're interested in right now, or even get them excited about choosing which video is going to come out next. But thanks again to Super.fans for supporting a growing creator. Super.fans is an integrations platform. They're not trying to be the all-in-one platform, but they are trying to connect all of your favorite software and apps all in one place. Their beta testing launched on December 7th, so you can now sign up if you'd like to be part of the beta testing program. Your feedback and suggestions are going to help build Super.fans. They want to know how creators best use these platforms and what kind of struggles they come into so that they can make sure that it works best for you, for us. How cool is that? I really do love working with Super.fans. I promise this is not some money-fueled hype up. I am very, very happy to be working with these people. They are creators themselves. They want to build the creator economy, and they want to help all content creators have an easier workflow. They want to simplify the creation process. And when we don't have to spend as much time working on these sites, that means that we have more time to create, more time to build community, more time to come up with new ideas. I really do love them. Thanks again, Super.fans. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. They are always open to feedback, so feel free to contact them or me with any questions or suggestions that you have. We want to know what kind of software you use, what your biggest hurdles are, what kind of features you'd like to see on your favorite platforms that don't already exist. Really, the sky's the limit here. Clearly, we do have some computer limitations. However, when we're talking about ideas, the sky is the limit. I'm looking forward to hearing your suggestions. Thank you so much for watching Creator Economy Insights. My name is Grace Banyan. I'll see you next time.